Hey, my name's Ethan Beck, and this is my video for Exam 3. So we're given the following information. We're at a price level of 247. We're given the following information to go along with that. So for consumption, which is right here, to calculate consumption, it is 4 trillion plus 0.75y. So for investment, we have 3 trillion. Government spending, the same, 3 trillion. And for net exports, we have negative 0.5 trillion, also known as negative 500 billion. So now, added up, this gives us this line here with an equilibrium of 18 trillion. So this is where it meets, because this line is where it perfectly balances the expenditures with the output, meaning they're completely balanced here. So right here is where these two lines intersect, making the equilibrium point of 18 trillion. So the second part of part 1 gives us a new set of numbers because the price level is now 240. So this doesn't change anything except for consumption. So consumption now is 4.2 trillion instead of 4 trillion. So it's 4.2 trillion plus 0.75y. So that's all that changes here. So this new set of numbers gives us our second line, which is the one above. So this is the same graph as before, but now with another line for our new set of numbers. So what this does is it gives us a new equilibrium point of where it crosses this the first line at 18.8 trillion. Okay, it's not. Okay, there we go. So now that we have 2 points on our aggregate expenditures model, we can plot our aggregate demand curve, which is here. So since we have both of these plotted, we can now calculate what the entire curve is going to be with, because there's the price level of 247, price level 240. Alright. Now I added a long run aggregate supply line of 18.5 trillion here. And to demonstrate a recession of 500 billion, I added in a short run aggregate supply curve, which is here. So, as you can see, its equilibrium is different from the long run aggregate supply line. Its equilibrium is different from the other one, showing that the economy is out of balance, as you see here, because it should be right along this line, but it's not. It's off to the left. So the solution to this would be to drop prices, which would cause more people to buy. Basically meaning, since more people buy because of the lower prices, you now have more people spending to buy the lower prices, which fixes the recession problem. Because lower prices equals more spending, the consumption of graphs will change also. So as we saw in step 1 of this video, there are the aggregate expenditures graph will also change. Oh, sorry, a little off kilter there. The graph will also change in the same way as before, shifting upward, right? So now that it's changed, it's moved up with the new price level. So the multiplier, as seen here, showed all the steps, is 4. So when I determined the multiplier, I found that 2 trillion would be cycled back into the GDP. Because if you calculate this all out, you ended up with 2 trillion. This would cause the supply to rise and prices to drop, which would ultimately recover our economy from the recession. And also, they need... oh, my finger's in it, sorry. They needed proof, so that's me again, on a log over a river. Yeah.